Hey, everybody.
Hey there.
Good, everybody. Are we live?
Hello. Hello from Star Garden.
Welcome, everybody. You know what time it is. If it is the fourth Tuesday, it is 5x5 night where I am Daryl Ross and I'm with the Star Garden crew where we have 5 entrepreneurs who are ready to pitch their ideas. So once a month, we have 5 judges in front of 5 entrepreneurs that can pitch for $5,000, thus called 5x5. Before we start and get into the real excitement and talent, we'll go around and introduce yourself and introduce the judges, and they'll kind of tell you a little bit about themselves and what they're looking for in a company as they evaluate them. Let's start with you, Jorge.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jorge Gonzalez. I'm one of the directors here at Star Garden. And as far as the judging criteria, we're just looking at making sure what's the best idea out of the 5, what's going to make more impact, what's more marketable, sustainable, and viable.
Sounds good. Mike.
Hi, everyone. Mike Moore, and one of the co-directors at Star Garden. And yeah, I think I'm more than anything looking for a pairing of a founder and idea that has some kind of an unfair advantage in whatever it is they're trying to solve, and has a good chance at winning at whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, along with finding things that are meaningful and going to have impact.
Cool. And our permanent guest host, Mercedes from Spectrum Health, my sister. What are you looking for tonight?
Hey everybody, Mercedes Barragan from Spectrum Health. I serve as a DEI consultant there. And I am really looking for an idea that is new, that is forward, that is going to make an impact on people and community and be able to make some money.
Good plan.
I like that. And last but not least, Lori.
Hi, I am Lori Sapinski, a program director at Star Garden, and I think what I'm looking for is somebody that can tell us how your business it sets apart from somebody else. So, in other words, what makes you different from the competition? So,
cool, good stuff. And once again, I am Daryl Ross, another director at Star Garden. You may ask why we do this. We simply believe in entrepreneurship. We believe in wealth building, and more than ever, we believe that entrepreneurship is the best way to build wealth. But without further ado, let's see who we have tonight, because they're all surprises to me. And this is the selection meeting. All right, we have Draw Club Online, Premier Diagnostics, Farm Bridge Snap Program App, Grand Rapids Minority Business Magazine, and Hobby. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm assuming those are in that order, Murph? Yes? Yeah. Cool. All right. Draw Club Online, you are up. Everybody give a big round of applause. Wade.
All right. My name is Wade Gugino. Very nice to meet all of you. Very, very nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I am the owner of Gugenius, the cartoon company. And along with my wife, Eva Marie, she helps with a lot of the background things that I work on, and I do most of the drawing. We cartoon everything, cartoon strips, caricatures, explainer videos, animations, visual layouts, storyboards, graphic recording for people, and we do classes. We offer a draw club for kids ages 7 to 16. I do that on Thursdays in Grand Rapids and Fridays in Holland. Slide, please. All right, so the idea that I'm trying to pitch here is basically taking our in-studio draw clubs and putting them online. Being able to move them to an online platform where it's interactive and more enjoyable for more kids. Currently, we meet in person, and there are about 80 kids weekly. At our peak during COVID here, we're a little over 40 kids weekly, but it will grow again once we're all able to meet a little bit more, and kids have started to follow online, so we're experimenting with that a little bit. So we work on a focused drawing lesson every week, and we cover multiple disciplines over the school year. And we offer kids support and community and improvement skills for their drawing. And they really like that community aspect to things. And I don't see much else out there for kids in the drawing environment for that. So we frequently get requests for draw clubs in other communities. I'll put out a lot of ads on Facebook, and we have folks all over the place saying, when are you going to start one here? And I can't be everywhere at once. So really, the main idea is to, instead of only working with 80 kids a week, work with thousands a week online. Because we have interesting lessons already put together for the kids, we think that it's a fairly simple transition to moving online, and that we can pretty well ramp up to that with a small amount of cash. Right now, we're working at looking at having a website sign up, which is what I do right now, and then delivering on Zoom, but that could change over time. So bottom line is, the overall idea is just to get this online as a sort of a little bit of a variety show, but basically a basic drawing class online for more kids around the state and around the country. As far, slide please. As far as our impact and market, well, there are tons of kids that come and really enjoy Draw Club. It's not for every kid, but the kids that come, they love the community aspect of this. It's kind of like having their own sport. Lots of kids aren't involved in other activities, but they love to draw. And drawing is normally kind of a solitary sort of activity. And the kids that stay in Draw Club are the ones who are looking for a community where they can share with other people their drawings, where they can improve, and where they can get support and be guided in being able to draw better. And they don't really get that anywhere else. I can't find any other place other than some drawing tutorials and some things like Kids Art Hub online that gives some basic tutorials, but it's not a community where they can share amongst each other. Once they learn the concepts, they can apply those concepts anywhere later in life. And you see kids in my classes coming sometimes 5 years in a row, because each year they get better and better and better. Now, as far as the market goes for this, I can't give you an exact number of what the market would be like, because moving these classes online is a little bit different than whatever I have seen out there at any rate. But I do know that in Holland and Grand Rapids, we've got 80 kids that were coming regularly, and we'll be moving back to that shortly, hopefully, if we get past the COVID issues here. If there's that many in a couple of towns, we believe that at least in every state, we can end up with somewhere around 100 kids. And that alone ends up making a massive amount of money during the course of the year. We're only in the school year normally right now, but we could offer camps as well in the summer. So if we're looking at 40 weeks times 5,000 kids times $10 a week, that becomes something that actually starts to make real money. And if we do better with market penetration and hit some of the kids out in rural areas as well, if it becomes popular, it could grow even further than that. Slide, please. All right, I am the person for this because I have loved cartoons my whole life, and basically I have just taught and drawn and done different lessons for schools and all sorts of different places. And not only that, I've been working on revamping my studio to be ready for this. I have a $4,000 grant that we've turned the studio into something where we can videotape different presentations for kids and put them out there, and also do live presentations. I've been in the cartoon business for 13 years and made it work, and I'm ready to make this work as well. Last slide, please. So with $5,000, basically we would take the first $2,500 and we would create extra content. Selling things online is not as easy as it is in person, so we'd have to have a little bit more dynamic content. I want to be able to do interviews, do experiments, and do different kinds of visiting out, what would you call them, going out to check out different places and be able to present learning objectives with the class, and then be able beyond that to combine that with our daily classes and our daily draw online, and use the other $2,500 to create targeted Facebook ads to promote that in new localized areas around Michigan. This is something I've done all my whole life, and I'd really like to be involved with Start Garden and with 5x5 Night to be able to push this forward to another level.
Thank you, Wayne.
No problem. It was saying that my time was done. Is that correct? I kind of stopped abruptly because I was a little behind on the timing.
No, good.
It's good.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, Wade, can you talk a little bit more about your marketing plan? Because the internet is a busy place, and it's to put things on the internet, it's hard to find customers, and you kind of framed up a $2,500 experiment
Right.
in terms of ads. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you plan to find customers, what you think it might cost you per customer to find them, how long it takes.
My first approach is to try and work in Michigan here because I feel like that's a good start and that I could take the $2,500 and boost ads. Normally, I get onto all of the different online, like Grand Rapids Online, Allendale Online, and so on, and put in normal ads. That would be kind of a guerrilla approach to things so that people know about it. But what I found, is that when I boost ads, even $5 and $10, it really gets a lot of activity going with the ads and more people aware and more people interested at the beginning of the school year. So for me, at the start of the next semester, which would be mid-January, I would be looking probably a month before that, just after Christmas and out into the mid-January, late January time, putting bunches of ads into medium-sized to larger communities like from Holland size up to Lansing and Ann Arbor size, and hitting the bigger cities first. But then depending on the effectiveness of that, having a little bit of it left over to try and hit different publications that would, and I don't have those specifically laid out for Michigan yet, but hitting different publications that would talk about the arts. Like I've worked with the Holland Area Arts Council. They know a number of arts councils around the state here that would be able to promote what we do and do things in tandem with me. I've done a lot of work in tandem with other companies, and I think that I could get the word out that way, but use the cash for focused Facebook ads for people to know about it and to click through to the website and hopefully to get involved.
Thanks, Wade.
Cool. Sorry about the technical issues. Does anybody else have any questions for Draw Club Online?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, Wade. Who's up next, Mark?
Thanks, Wade.
Next up, we have Premier Diagnostics. It's your show, Tammy.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tammy Mofsis, and I apologize for my laryngitis. I'm the proud founder of Premier Diagnostics. Our mission is to prevent blindness in premature infants. Preemies who are born at less than 3¼ pounds are classified as low birth weight preemies. Low birth weight preemies are among the sickest of all patients, and low birth weight preemies are at risk of an eye disease called retinopathy of prematurity, most commonly known by its acronym ROP. With our technology, which utilizes just 1 drop of blood, we can identify which babies need an adjustment to their glucose to help save their vision. Next slide. We have invented the first A1C assay for infants. An A1C assay is a blood test used to estimate glucose control. High A1C indicates consistently high glucose over the last 4 to 8 weeks. Preemies have trouble controlling their glucose. The problem is that the standard A1C test is not able to be used in infants. We solved that problem. By modifying a commercially available A1C, we created an infant A1C prototype. And with our infant A1C prototype, we conducted a human study, which has just been published in the respectable journal Biomarkers. We showed that high A1C is linked with ROP. This had never been shown before. In addition, we showed that high A1C within days after birth predicts the onset of disease about 4 weeks later. This is exciting because this means that we can intervene before the onset of disease. All low birth weight preemies should be screened with our A1C assay kit. In the United States, this is about 65,000 babies per year. This will identify the preemies at risk of ROP and allow intervention before the onset of disease. Next. There is a great need for our product because current treatments for ROP don't work well enough. Even with treatment, 1,000 preemies go blind every year. The lifetime cost of blindness for one child exceeds $2 million. Around the world, 50,000 children go blind from ROP each year. That means ROP blindness creates a global burden of $100 billion for families and healthcare services. We plan to sell our lab kits directly to hospital labs and to charge $249 for each test unit. This is considered reasonable according to 2019 US guidelines for humanitarian medical devices such as ours. At this price, our US revenue can reach $18 million per year. And after reaching the US market, we plan to market abroad. With our lab kit, ROP can be prevented in three steps. A nurse can apply 1 drop of blood from the baby to a piece of filter paper to form a dry blood spot. And the hospital lab, using our kit, can measure the A1C on the blood spot. And then if the A1C is high, physicians can add less glucose to the fluids for that baby to lower their glucose levels without need for insulin or other drugs. This should help prevent ROP. Next slide. In June of this year, I launched Premier Diagnostics. My inspiration for this company has come from my love of entrepreneurship and my innovative work with premature infants. My background in pediatric ophthalmology, public health, and biochemistry helped me conceive the idea. My intellectual property is currently patent pending, and I own 100% of it. The rest of our team is also growing strong. Our team has expertise in medicine, business, fundraising, commercialization, and FDA regulations. In addition, we were in talks with 6 children's hospitals, including DeVos Children's Hospital in Grand Rapids, who are interested in joining us as clinical research partners. Next slide. Our next step forward is to develop a customized A1C assay. This is about a 6-month process. The cost of this step is approximately $30,000. And just a few days ago, we received $25,000 prize money for winning the gold medal at the prestigious Mass Challenge competition for startups. We are so excited because this will pay for our labor costs. But as part of assay development, we need to screen a variety of clinical grade antibodies and select one that works best for our assay. The price to purchase these antibodies is about $5,000. Thus, the prize from this pitch will allow us to purchase the antibodies and get started right away on our assay development. After assay development, we plan to validate manufacturing processes and controls and submit data for FDA approval. After that, we will focus on commercialization. The Premier brand will come to represent quality medical products for Premier Health. So let's all help children born in the near future clearly see a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, Daryl, I think you're on mute if you're talking.
That's problematic, huh? I said that's very impressive. Do you have any questions from the judges?
Again, I do as usual. Hey, Tammy, congrats on the Mass Challenge Award. That I know the Mass Challenge people well. That's a very competitive competition. Can you give me a little bit of insight into what FDA and regulatory moving forward looks like for you? Where are you in that process?
So I'm a new company. I'm only 4 months old in this company. I think we've met before with a prior company, but I actually just was awarded a $2,500 grant from the Southwest Pediatric Medical Device Consortium to help me move forward in the FDA regulatory process. But my medical device will qualify as a humanitarian medical device, and this slashes the time and cost of getting FDA approval. So I haven't yet applied for FDA approval because I'm early in the process, but the process will be able to be done in a 3 to 6 month process as far as getting the approval once my device is ready.
Because you're building up an adult A1C, are you going to have to do a full FDA, or can you piggyback on the prior?
No, so this is a humanitarian medical device exemption pathway. So it's actually a pathway where you actually do not have to do clinical trials. It relies a lot on past on things already in the literature because it's meant to move forward. And then what happens is you get the approval and then you actually continue to do trials after the approval. So it's actually a different pathway than what the regular A1C pathway would have been.
Got it. And then one more real quick. Does that preclude you in any way regarding your IP?
No, actually not at all. And actually, this is actually the first of a plethora of projects with my same technology is going to be able to use also to diagnose gestational diabetes earlier and for better management of that disease during pregnancy with the same blood spot.
Thanks, Amy.
So I have a quick question.
Sure.
What technology or how are they currently checking for this in preemies?
Okay, so right now they check glucose levels on a daily basis or even a continuous basis, but that doesn't actually give a good picture of what's happening over time. And we actually learned this from adult diabetes, when they used to manage diabetes by just checking daily glucose. When the A1C test was invented 40 years ago, it revolutionized the management of diabetes because they found that doctors who thought they were managing their patients were not managing their patients well. So we really expect this to make a really big impact in the care of premature infants, not just in actually blindness, but actually in general health as well.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Judges, any other questions?
Mercedes?
Thank you.
You know, I don't have any other questions. I just know that an A1C, from like a diabetic perspective, it gives a better understanding of that person's true, like diabetes, like how severe or onset
Exactly. It gives a long-term picture as opposed to a spot check. And it's not instead of measuring glucose, it's sort of in addition. It gives different information.
That does bring me to another question. So currently, are there youth A1C tests, or is that not checked in children?
Okay, so right now the A1C test is not used in infants. Actually, if you look at the FDA, the approved A1C test says not for use in infants. There are researchers who actually are trying to figure out different ways to measure long-term glucose control in infants. But I'm the only one who's sort of focused on ROP prevention and also the use of just one drop of blood for this kind of measurement.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Given that it's a longitudinal piece of data, at how old does a preemie have to be before historical data matters?
You know, they developed this disease just 4 weeks after birth. So as opposed to like diabetic retinopathy, where you have to wait 7 years to see results, we're going to know the results in 4 weeks. So that's really an advantage of working with these premature infants. The disease develops very, very quickly.
Okay.
Fortunately and unfortunately, but.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Keep up
Thank you.
the good work.
Thank you very much.
See you later. All right, let's keep it moving. Troy is next with Fire and Bridge SNAP program app.
Yeah, hi guys. Troy Rice from Farm Bridge. Really appreciate you having me here and grateful to be here to share this opportunity with you. I also like to share that I'm a husband and a father of 3 boys, and we have a daughter on the way in January, which is awesome. But how we get into the local food space and agriculture is my wife and I truly care about learning where food comes from, and then being able to educate our kids on not only where food comes from, but how to prepare it in the kitchen and the food that they eat. And so what we're going to dive through here is an idea that we came up with to improve the SNAP Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program that's transacted at farmers markets today. Next slide. So today at a farmer's market, if you are a SNAP card holder, you attend a market, and then once you get to the market, you request a set of wooden tokens. And so today, to be able to buy farm food at a farmer's market, you have to use wooden tokens. And so why that it causes a problem is when you go up and you request the tokens, there's only a certain amount of tokens that are allotted for the market, because the market has to estimate how many people that engage in the SNAP program may attend their market that day. So therefore, if a customer tries to request $100 worth of food to spend, but they could be capped at $40 per se to spend at the market. So eliminating or decreasing their access to local food. In addition to that, a farmer's market manager may have to go out into the market and rebuy back wooden tokens from the farm to be able to use and supply to those that actually need it. And so what we've created is designed a web-based application that will eliminate the wooden token experience and create ease in the process efficiencies for the program at farmers markets. Not only will it increase the experience and the access to local food for those participating in the SNAP program, but it'll also build in efficiencies for reporting and data as part of the process today, which is managed manually by farmers market managers and the required reporting needed for the USDA FNS program. Next step. Next slide. So why does this matter? And so throughout our journey in learning about where food comes from and the importance of the SNAP program at farmers markets, we soon learned that there is a magnitude of people that actually engage in this program. There are over 38 million people that access SNAP food program benefits throughout the US. There was an increase by 16% in April because of COVID, which it resulted in a 40% or a $2 billion increase in the spend on a monthly basis to help supply SNAP benefits for those families in need. In addition to that, and related to Michigan, Michigan went from 1 million to 2 million enrollment in the program as a relation of COVID in April. And then lastly, there are over 8,600 farmers markets across the US that most of them participate in this program that this application would help out with. Next slide. So why are we the ones to do this? And so throughout the last 3 years, my wife and I have tried to do our best in educating ourselves on knowing where food comes from and then being able to teach our kids. And throughout that journey, we launched an online farmers market model in 2019 and then relaunched a brand new platform that actually supports farms, farm workers, farmers markets, and local consumers when we learned more about how we could actually meet the need in the community and what they actually needed. In addition to that, we wanted to do a better part about learning where food comes from. And so we built up partnerships with organizations such as Migrant Legal Aid and Fair World Project and Equitable Food Initiative to do excellent work in actually helping out the farming community and farm workers, because most people can't really tell you how their food gets to their table. And so we wanted to do a better job at educating ourselves, but also working with these organizations to build up educational curriculum that's on our platform today to help people educate their kids on knowing where their food comes from. Next slide. So what we will do with the money. And so throughout our journey, we had an opportunity to reach out for feedback so that we could actually learn how to build a great application to improve this process. And so we met with the Farmers Market Coalition, which is the organization that oversees all 8,600 farmers markets across the US. We had an opportunity to meet with Fulton Street Farmers Market, Eastern Market, and the USDA to get feedback on what it would look like to build an application that would support them and farmers markets and SNAP card users across the US. What we would use the money on is IT infrastructure to build this out. So not only would we need Amazon servers for data, we would need payment processing platform plugins, we would need data analytics and reporting into the application. And so with your help and the $5,000, that would cover 65% of what we would need, where my wife and I would jump in and cover the rest. And then the estimated timeline to development would be 3 to 4 months with a tentative launch in April and May of next year. We are truly grateful for your consideration and thank you for letting us share our mission and our idea to help improve this and improve the lives of millions of people. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Who knew wooden coins should be pretty easy to innovate past that?
Welcome to 1485.
Jorge, got any questions?
I do, and thank you, Troy. Let me make sure that I'm not muted, right? Okay. My first thing that came, and thank you for connecting with all those nonprofits that so you're working as far as with the actual farm workers. My only question is I think it's a good idea, and I think that it could definitely increase the usage of or taking advantage of their SNAP program. But it came back to how are you going to market it to people that probably are not so much into technology? I mean, they may have cell phones, but they may not use apps as much as as we do.
Yeah, so great question. So we wanted to cover our bases on this. So we actually went to Farmers Market Coalition and MIFMA for feedback on this one. It's because there's also the concern of farms out there that don't engage in technology at markets as well. And so what we would do is we would have a backup plan. So they would get a card that they would get to use that would look very similar to a credit card, where they could swipe that as a transaction at the markets. What's great about that is if you think about it, the perception today, if a SNAP card member attends a market, it looks and feels different to them, and it looks perceivably different, where they have to use wooden tokens to pay for food. And so not only would they get to use an application to pay for it, but they could also use a card that would look and feel just like a credit card, and it would make it a seamless transaction for them, and they could feel like they are transacting in a normal process. As far as marketing, because we built up relationships with Farmers Market Coalition, FMA, Eastern Market, we have an ability to meet with the farmers market associations across the U.S. to help market this application and get it up and running at many markets, and then disseminate the information down there to the SNAP card holders at the markets that attend that market. And so it really starts from the top, and where we can disseminate it down and work with the organizations that already do a good job in communicating on the SNAP program across the U.S.
Thank you, Troy. Now, for our listeners that are listening, Eastern Market is in Detroit, right?
Yes, so Eastern Market is one of the largest markets in the state of Michigan and in the nation, and is based in downtown Detroit.
Thank you.
Troy, is there any governmental or regulatory approval needed for you to do this?
Yeah, so that's why we reached out and shared this idea with the USDA. So the FNS program, the food nutrition program for the USDA, is the one that come up with the SNAP program.
Yeah,
it's all the funding. And so what we did is we shared this idea to understand how we could work together, because we know that they're going to care about the data. Meaning what farm food is being purchased at a market, how many SNAP users within a particular area are using the program.
Yeah.
That way they can build up funding and everything to be able to use. And so we're working with the USDA program to actually build in a partnership where we can share that data and help them build their own programming and budgeting models that they can use for the future.
But is the USDA where the approval, like again, what is the actual formal approval that's required, and what is that process?
Yeah, it requires an application with the FNS program, which is a division of the USDA. And so when somebody applies for the SNAP benefits program, they have a set of qualifications that fall under whether they qualify based on their income level. And then when they get approved, they are issued an allotment of money and a SNAP, or what's often called as a bridge card in Michigan, to use at not only farmers markets, but they can use it at local grocery stores and markets within their neighborhoods and communities. But it starts with the USDA.
Got it. But in that allocation you get, does that create the same limitation that exists with the wooden chips, or do you have an unlimited amount that you can, allocate based on need? How does that work?
Yeah, so as long as they have any amounts in their SNAP account, they can access any amount they want. So if they get allotted $400, they can actually request to use $150 or up to $400 at the market, where today they're capped at anywhere between like $50 to $60 because of the tokens. There's also a double up food program that goes with SNAP, which we are building into the application as well, which allows them to access double the amount of fruits and vegetables, as well as a few other qualifiers in the program too. So they can access double the amount of food and access as much as they have funding available in their SNAP account.
Great. The question I have is, does it automatically connect to the bridge card? Meaning, so once they swipe this app through their app, does the balance on the bridge card automatically deduct, or do they still have to do the manual transaction with the bridge card?
No, it automatically transacts. So it pulls the balance off of that and it puts it on the SNAP app program. And then at any given time, they can actually request a refund and put the money back on their SNAP card if they want to go out in the community and use it at a different spot. And so it's transacted in real time too. So therefore, if they use it within the market, it pulls the account off of the SNAP account that they put in the bucket. And then if they have an amount left in there, they can go on to a different market and transact it there as well. So it's a live transactional feed based on the amounts that they spend.
So just so I'm understanding, the app automatically would jump into their bank account or to their government account and in real time be aligned.
Yes. Yep. And then because of that too, within the infrastructure, we're going to build in like a CAPTCHA or security in the framework, because in talking to USDA, we want to be sensitive with people's information. And so all they have to do is swipe their SNAP card, similar to they would swipe it as like a credit card, and it allots whatever funds they choose to do onto their SNAP program to use right away.
So you do have to slide the card.
You have to either slide the card or you have to request a transfer. And so the way that we're going to build this in is you can walk in and they can swipe a card at the market, or they can online actually request the transfer, meaning I can go on to my account and actually request a transfer of the SNAP funds over to the SNAP app. That way they could actually attend the market and shop it without even walking into the office. But we know that most users, based on what we heard from market managers, like to come in and talk about the program and everything as it is. And so we anticipate they probably would swipe it up front, but they will have an ability to actually transfer it electronically.
Gotcha. Sounds good. All right, judges, any other questions for FarmBridge?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you, Troy.
All right, down to the final two. Grand Rapids Minority Business Magazine, Two Eagles Marcus. Let's go.
How's it going? Thank you so much for having me on here today. My idea to, you go to the next slide. My idea today is Grand Rapids Minority Business Magazine, which is a print publication focusing on profiling people of color in business. We'll provide access to an exclusive platform to connect with those who are redefining the regional business landscape. Our magazine will highlight profiles of local corporations, businesses, workforce, and business owners to create connections, build relationships, and help drive our community's economic, political, and social power. We are connecting and uniting professionals, students, and businesses to create impactful change in the West Michigan marketplace. But we are more than just a magazine. We want to be an integral part of the corporate culture shift of diversity and inclusion. And I believe that in order to have effective, sustainable organizational change to happen, it is essential that more people of color are put into leadership positions to create that cultural change in an organic way from the inside out. So part of this is to help use our platform to develop, retain, and attract talent to our region, because a lot of people have the opinion that Grand Rapids is not necessarily the market for them, and a lot of people leave to the other communities, so we want to help change that. Now, some of the services and features that we'll offer to help with that are, of course, the printed magazine, the website, a job board for workforce development, a bidding board for contractors, which will help with supplier diversity, virtual classes with online training, virtual conferences to bring together thought leaders and small business owners, as well as award events recognizing the contributions of people of color in the business and the workforce. Next slide, please. Now, the minority populations of the United States are collectively expected to become the new majority by 2045. And because of this, the future success of our local and national economies is dependent on the expansion of minority-owned businesses and the advancement of the minority workforce in the leadership positions. But the amount of businesses that we have to meet that criteria, it's just, we're not up to par, especially after the coronavirus pandemic that has closed a lot of minority-owned businesses. And before that, we were already way behind. Now, according to the Grand Rapids Equity Report published by PolicyLink in 2017, the region's economy in West Michigan, Kent County, could have been nearly $4 billion stronger if in 2014 the racial gaps in income had been closed. So that would increase the average Black income from 89%, from $16,550 to $31,271. Next slide. Now myself, I'm a Tiwa Poblawan Native American, and my tribe is from the Pueblo of Taos in New Mexico. And I currently publish Women's Lifestyle magazine, which is a 22-year-old local women's niche magazine. And then finally, we can go to the next slide. Is there a little more slide or no? Okay, the awareness. What I'll do with the $5,000 is I'll use $1,000 for LinkedIn lead gen form audience building campaign, $1,000 for LinkedIn targeted content campaigns, $1,000 for Facebook targeting content campaigns, $1,000 for LinkedIn retargeting campaigns, $1,000 for Facebook retargeting campaigns. Now these efforts will be to increase the audience for the magazine, as well as advertise and target professionals in different groups with content that matches the personas that we develop for them. And that's it.
All right. Love the concept and love Women's Lifestyle magazine. Any questions from the judges?
I have one. So is this magazine, the magazine's going to be for sale? Did you say that?
Yeah, there will be subscription based.
Okay.
There will be some distribution locally, mostly subscriptions, but also we'll be sending the magazine to company leaders and different like human resources people at different larger companies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how often did you say it was going to be published?
Every 2 months, or every other month.
Every other month. Okay.
6 times a year.
Okay.
But we'll also have the website, which will have actively updated content as well as webinars and different podcasts too.
Can you tell me more about the website? I'm curious why in some ways why you chose print as the primary and the web is is the web secondary, or is it going to have all the same content? What's your thought there?
The content will be different. Part of the magazine is magazines have the tangible quality. It's something you can hold in your hands, and it's also a direct marketing piece as well as a lead generation piece. So when people have it laying out on their table, other people see it when they come over. But we can also send it to people right in their mailbox that aren't necessarily subscribers, but people we target that are in positions to make decisions about advertising or hiring. And it's a way to cut through the noise. I mean, when it comes to digital, we're constantly bombarded all the time. And print is becoming, I want to say, more rare. And so it's kind of almost that now that with the digital, when you have a print piece, it's going against the grain.
And how much is the subscription?
$36.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going, Two Eagles? Thanks
Hey,
for your question. Question for you. What areas did you hope to cover? I don't know if I missed it or if you mentioned it. Do you hope just West Michigan, all of Michigan, focus on the Detroit area and West Michigan? What were you thinking?
Well, we're going to focus our efforts in Kent County and then a little bit of the Muskegon and kind of surrounding counties. But we're going to be working with some agencies that are out of town too, which will be interested in what we're doing here.
Okay. So then that will be, just for clarification, that'll be the stories you cover and then the entity.
Right. Most of the stories that are going to be in the magazine will be from people in Kent County.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. And welcome back, Lori.
I'm back.
Lori, between me and you, I think we just keep taking turns dropping
back
off.
and
So don't
forth,
worry
yeah.
about it.
Two Eagles, I've known you for a long time, and I know that you're all about collaboration.
Yeah.
One of the fears that I have is that, we keep coming up with different initiatives in the minority community, and I'm just afraid that, and I want to get your input as to how you can collaborate with Grand Rapids area Black businesses, the Hispanic Chamber, the Asian community, other minorities that already have existing, platforms out there. Just can you elaborate on how you're going to work with them?
Yeah. So when it comes to the different communities, everyone, not everyone, but they're kind of in segments, just like you said, we have a GRAB and we have West Michigan Hispanic Chamber, we have the regular chamber, we have the West Michigan Asian American Association, and also the Asian American Pacific Chamber of Commerce. And everyone has their own audiences. And I want to bring everybody together. So everybody will be reflected in the magazine. And I've been consulting or talking to the different organizations about how we're going to work together and create awareness amongst each other, because we need to have that cohesion of all the separate groups into one place. So everybody will see the information about everyone else. They'll learn about each other's cultures, they'll learn about each other's businesses and create business in between them. But also we'll be able to go and look at content that's specific to people that look like them. And I mean, that's one of the things that when you're in this business community and you see somebody that, I mean, this is my personal opinion, but when I see someone at an event that looks more like me, or it's like, or even in advertising, if I see an ad and it has a Native American person in it, it's like, I've probably only seen a few of those in my life. I mean, when I think about, there's only 6 million to 7 million Native Americans in the United States, and there's 2,500 in Kent County, and there's 1,500 people on my reservation, which I've only been to twice in New Mexico. So like seeing people that look like me, I know that it gives you attention, and I wanted to bring everyone together so they can, it's like you can be it if you see it. So part of it is to work with the groups at the colleges and connect with the organizations, I guess the minority cultural organizations, to also have them participate in what we're doing, so they can go from going through this, taking that path from college into the workforce and seeing the opportunities that are there and already knowing, and already have actually been participating with the leaders in the community through webinars or speaking sessions or whatever it is.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, Two Eagles, love the vision. And you're right, people need to see more monuments of themselves, tell stories, celebrate culture. Great idea. Talk to you soon on the other side.
All right, thank you.
Let's get to the last entrepreneur of the night. Murph, who we got next? Hobby Emmanuel. Am I saying that right? I'm assuming. You might be muted.
Not hearing you, Emmanuel.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel Arab. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hobby, and my email address is actually below on the slide. Please, next slide. So, next slide, please, after this. So, Hobby is a social networking app that allows us to share textual stories among our friends. In simple terms, you send out a message and your friends are able to read it in real time. So before Hobby, we had two options of obtaining that information. The first option would be by sending the text to your friends or families saying like what's happening with you. But it has a lot of limitations and challenges, such as it could take a while before they respond back, or you could end up getting like a big answer. Like maybe they're just chilling or like nothing much happening. You don't really get that specific like answer of what you're actually doing. The second option, which a lot of people rarely use, is Twitter. So first of all, Twitter is an information network. It's not a social network. And the user-based demographics I'm targeting rarely use Twitter. So please, next slide. So because we are text-based, we believe we are diminishing like the popular saying of like, no one cares about your fake life on social media. Therefore, like decreasing like depression among youth. We are also gonna like provide like options to users for them to create hubs of hubs of people in their life, such as you can have like a family hub or like a class hub or just your friend's hub. And in your class hub, you could be like about to do my math assignment, and your friends, like those in the hub, know what you're actually doing at the moment. And that's kind of like some of the options we are providing, though, such as also about play like basketball, and people that your friends that know that like Laurie is about to play like basketball at this moment. So we are also thinking on integrating with streaming services like Netflix and Spotify, where the users, like if I have you as a friend on like my Hobby, I could know that hey, like Kevin is actually watching Avengers on Netflix. And a lot of that information, you don't really get it today, except like through Hobby. Please, next slide. So I'm a passionate tech entrepreneur. I recently obtained my BSc in computer science. I interned at Penn Zaltra, where I understood like the business structure of the company. Then I was also I was able to build excellent time management skills by combining sports and academics. And I'm part of the user-based demographics. That's Jesse. That's also my co-founder, and he's handling like the business side of the company. Please, next slide. So what will I use the money for? So the money will assist us in covering for servers, like servers costs, and it'll also help us with getting like early help. So I'm thinking on trying to get like more like developers who could like assist me on developing the app, maybe about two, and instead of giving them away like a lot of equity, I'm gonna have to pay them like something they could like have, so I could like retain some of the equity for like future investments. Then also the non-financial benefit of winning this competition, it'll put like Hobby in a great spot for our good accelerators, where we could like obtain like good mentorship and guidance while we're like developing this company. So all in all, I'm like really hardworking. I've been working hard my whole life, and I envision like Hobby is actually like bringing families and friends together, especially when like they're apart. As a parent, you don't really know what your kids are actually doing in college, but like as a parent, if you have your kids on your Hobby, you could be like, hey kids, love you. It's mama here, about to binge watch. I'm about to go on a movie marathon on Netflix, and you could post it, send it as a message, an image, or a voice, or an audio message, and your kids could see like, hey, oh, mama is about to do this at this time. Therefore, creating a deeper connection, which current social media does not provide. In 5 to 10 years from now, it'll be like in the history books that Start Garden gave us the momentum to be where we are today. Thank you.
All right, Start Garden judges, you got an opportunity to be part of history. So you have any questions for Hobby?
I do. So I need you to explain to me how this is different from just having a group text. And then what's the outcome that you're trying to achieve? So like if you're hooked up to Netflix and you're telling people you're watching Netflix, what are they supposed to do with that information? Like what is
the whole idea
the point,
is
I guess?
like first of all, like your first question, like what separates us from like group messages. So like when people use group, like when people are like being like added to group messages, they want to get only messages that are related to that group. And for you to actually like interact in the group, you have to be interested in the conversation that's happening in the group. So someone has to actually initiate that conversation. With Hobby, you're not actually you don't have to like, you're just knowing what your friend is actually doing, like their everyday life. You don't see like the fake life that regular social media like shows us. You see the behind the scenes of like, you're about to make pasta at this moment, and if you know they're not good at cooking, you know that information and you could interact with them. So like there is more like current social media claims to connect us together, but it really isn't though, until like Hobby is going to be doing right now. There is going to be a lot like deeper connection between you and your friends, where you could know like, hey, so he actually is studying math at this time. He actually is about to play basketball at this time. He's about to go lift at this time. You know more about your friends, and therefore like creating a better and deeper connection with your friends.
So,
love those. Go ahead, Mike.
Manuel, it sounds like this has come from some personal experiences like you have had, and I'm with Lori. I'm struggling a little bit to figure out where this fits in the gap and what's like. I think that that value proposition has to be pretty strong, because we've got some pretty big apps out there, and Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp, and right. It's like, give me a little bit more from your personal perspective what that pain point was that you think other people are experiencing that drove you to create this.
So that's actually a very good question. So I was in Texas. My family is in Texas, and I go to school at Grand Valley. So while I was in Texas, I was watching a Netflix TV show, and something just came to my head. I was wondering what my friends were actually doing in school, because everyone is all apart. So my option would have been to send a text to each of my friends saying, hey, what are you guys up to? Like, what's up with you? Like, hey, what's up? But I always, every time I try to send a message like that, I always get back, hey, like, bro, I'm just chilling, you know, nothing much happening here on my side. I don't really get that specific like information of what my friends are actually doing. And even my family back home. My family back home, if I'm in school, I have no idea. Like there is that distance where I can't really even like connect with what they do like day to day. And if you send them a text message, you don't get a specific like answer on really what they're doing. And a lot of times you don't send text messages to all your friends. So I was wondering, like, so what if there was a platform where I could see what my friends are up to? You know, like if I see that, oh, Mary is about to go sing at this choir, or Kevin is actually headed to the theater to watch the new like Iron Man movie. I have more information about my friends, and I could know, like if I see them on the way, I could talk with them and say, oh hey, how was that movie? You know, like I know them much better. The current social media doesn't do that, because like if you have like apps like Facebook or Twitter, I actually had to do a survey to try to get the audience of like what I'm doing. A lot of people rarely post on Twitter and Facebook because they say it is too public, and they can't even share this type of information on those websites, on those apps. Another thing is when you post on those apps, it's written in ink. So when you're posting, you're more cautious of what you're posting, because you know, dang, it's gonna be there forever. But if you post on Hobby, it disappears after 24 hours. So whatever post you put on Hobby, it disappears. Like if you're about to cook pasta, your friends know you're about to cook pasta, in 24 hours that disappears. And that way you have to keep coming back to like the Hobby app to get in touch with what your friends are up to.
Like that. I like that. Love to hear the passion of entrepreneurs and the problems they're solving and the source of those ideas. And connectivity is always good. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. That was our 5 entrepreneurs. So again, every month we talk to 5 entrepreneurs for 5 minutes. We ask a few questions. And one of those aspiring entrepreneurs are now going to win $5,000. So what we're going to do is go offline shortly. We promise it will be a short duration of time. We'll compare notes. We're going to come back with a winner. And somebody, I would say someone's going to walk out of here with $5,000, but somebody will click out of here with $5,000. So we'll be back shortly. Thanks. All right. We are back.
We are back.
And we have a winner. So everybody did a great job. And we should probably announce that the next 5x5 event is November 24th. Does that sound about right? 24th showed up in the comments. Thanks, Murph. So November 24th. So once again, if you have a business idea or you're working on an idea, $5,000 could be yours with 5 minutes. Go ahead and submit at 5x5.com and you could be pitching next month. With that said, let's start bringing up some of the winners. $1,000 could be yours with 5 minutes. Go ahead and submit at 5x5.com and you could be pitching next month. With that said, let's start bringing up some of the winners. $1,000 could be yours. All right. Wade with Draw Club. Judges, any feedback for Wade? Just personally, great job. I support the arts, and I think the more we can get kids involved in the arts, it's just good shit.
Yeah, yeah. Wade, I think you're in the middle of of an unbelievable revolution in terms of what, frankly, education looks like. Both in terms of an unbelievable revolution in terms of what. Oh, we got crazy feedback here. But yeah, I think your world moving forward is going to continue to be tremendously interesting.
Yeah. The only specific feedback I have for you, Wade, is when pitching, try to do a more specific job of narrowing in your target market. Yeah. So a lot of times when people pitch to us, they'll say, oh, the population of X is such and such, and if I only get 10%. So really try to drill down, even if it's 2% or even if it's 100 people, how are you going to identify them? How do you know that that's the 100 you need and so forth? But other than that, great job and keep up the hustle.
Yeah. Thanks, Wade.
Thanks. Tammy, feedback for Tammy, judges.
I just think it's an amazing thing. Myself, as being diagnosed as a diabetic, probably about 7 years ago, I had to struggle with, checking my blood sugar level every day. So now the A1C, definitely as an adult, has really helped me because I'm off having to check it every day. I'm off medicines because of the fact that the A1C has really helped me. So I can say that I went from diabetic to pre-diabetic. So this helping, infants, it's an awesome thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
great.
just say. Oh, go ahead, Daryl.
Go ahead, Lori.
No, I was just going to say, a great presentation. I think, the only question we had was, obviously, you're so early on, the timing of everything. You've got FDA approval, and then, there's a time frame in there that's sort of an unknown, but that's the process. So we totally get that.
Yeah. Hey, Tammy, you learn something new every day. This is the first time I've run into the humanitarian exemption to the humanitarian process for the FDA. So
okay.
Thanks for the brief education on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy, and good luck with that FDA process and game-changing work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Farm Bridge. Comments from the judges. We should also point out that we only have the capacity to have 10 people on film at one time. So since we have 5 finalists, Mercedes dropped off, but we have her vote and she is represented. So that's why it's only 4 of us at 5x5 right now.
Good point. Daryl, so maybe I'll speak on behalf of Mercedes because she made a great comment about this one. The efforts you're making around the dignity of people and in the process is compelling. And we applaud that effort. So that's probably a Mercedes comment that I'm speaking on her behalf.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I totally agree. And I think one of the comments that I made also, Troy, was the fact that I was not aware because I rarely go to farmers markets, but when I go, I thank God I have the privilege that I don't need SNAP, but I know so many community members that do need it, and it's almost like a taboo, having to walk around, with those chips. So I applaud you for everything you're doing. And I think it's a great product, to be able to have that credit card or the app and just, have some dignity. So I echo what Mike said about Mercedes.
Yep, and again, my specific feedback is similar to, again, what's the exact market size? So of the $2 billion spent in SNAP benefits, what percentage of that is being spent at local farmers market? A little more into those numbers, but Troy, great job, and thanks for working on solving a real problem.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if I could just make one more. Oh.
You can. Yeah, you can. There you go, sir.
And I know that I lost connection a little bit. So when we were in the judges' room, the one thing that I wanted to know was a little bit more about your business model. So I wasn't quite sure how you make money on that. So I think that was clear. So maybe, pitching again or talking about this again, make sure you include that.
Yeah. Do you want me to explain it now, or would you like to know now, Lori?
No, we can follow up with you later. I think that Lori and I are going to catch up with every single one and kind of further discuss the next steps.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Troy.
I think Two Eagles Marcus is next. Bro, thanks for the work you are doing, the legacy of the magazine and the vision of uplifting community. It's a beautiful thing. Judges, feedback.
No, I'm applauding and I know Two Eagles for many years, and he's a good friend. So just wanted to know that when I first found out about this magazine, I was very excited because my only concern that I had, and I asked you, in front of all these people that are listening, was about making sure that we're not being divisive, but actually being collectively. And I think you answered it very well. That what you're trying to do is not just have the Hispanic community working on silos and the Asian community working. You're actually trying to make sure we're all working together. So I appreciate you for that, brother.
Thank you.
Cool. And I think we lost Lori again. Oh, here she comes. Like magic.
From parts unknown.
We were just giving feedback. Lori, is there anything you wanted to say to Two Eagles?
Oh, she's still not back.
Oh. Maybe not.
She's half back.
But no, thanks again. Great project, great work, and we're looking forward to seeing big things and seeing the print edition on the shelf.
All right.
Thank you. Oh. And then there were three. All right. Last but not least, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you, Ross.
All right. Always good. Connectivity is always good, especially during COVID. So I probably talked to my family and friends more via text messages in the last 6 months than any time. So as far as communication platforms, I think you're spot on in the direction of what's hot and popping. I don't know if the other judges have any critical feedback or
No, other than it's a crazy dicey space. When WhatsApp came out, everybody's like, how's this any different than Twitter and Facebook? Like every one of these that comes out, you're like, how the heck can there be another communication app, and how is it solving a unique problem? I think that's the good side. Very rarely do we see these things, and in retrospect they make sense, but it's hard up front. But I also would say, man, cutting through that noise is something else. And the amount of energy and dollars and things that it takes to actually get traction in that market, I think is a pretty substantial task that you need to continue to work on building momentum and user base, organically to prove that you can actually pick up those customers.
Right. And that would be my specific feedback as well, is don't try to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. Continue to just solve real world problems through tech and innovation, right. And keep up the hard work. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Daniel.
Oops.
Well, that's right.
All right, so are we ready?
We don't have a drum roll, but virtual drum roll.
Virtual drum roll, and the winner is Premier Diagnostics.
And we apologize in advance for the pitiful looking check. Like, what's the big? Where's our big cardboard? Like, what is that? It looks like you ran to the copy machine. Great.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be flying behind an airplane this month.
Thank you. I'm sorry about the laryngitis today, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Tammy. And thanks for the work you're doing. And it's a pleasure to be able to support you and other entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much.
Team, I don't know if you want feedback.
Thank you so
Tammy,
much.
just for historical context, we normally have a huge check that we give out during COVID because we're working from home. We ended up just doing paper checks, so we'll be mailing you this in the mail, so you'll get it, in about a week or so.
Oh, thank you.
Along with the real check, okay?
Yeah, it's really very useful because it really helps me move ahead straight away with helping the baby. So thank you everybody. Thank you for everyone's feedback, and it was also a pleasure hearing everybody else pitch as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Tammy, thanks,
and for those of you who did not win and pitch, it's not really just the money. So what we find a lot of times is those who participate in 5x5 still go on to be very successful, right? So it is about the interaction with other entrepreneurs, the connectivity. To that point, feel free to go to our website, download Startup Space. So even though we have been closed virtually and we're distant working and so forth, we have now created an ecosystem right on an app, and it's called Startup Space. So go download it, connect with our team, connect and get some one-on-one, connect to the rest of the ecosystem. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our sponsors, Spectrum Health, and probably some other people, but Spectrum Health, thank you. And with that, Jorge, you want the last word?
Also, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation is one of our sponsors, along with Spectrum Health as our serious sponsor. So we thank them.
That's the last word?
No, my last words are coming up.
All right.
No, yeah, I got to throw in there some stuff. No, I liked Lori's comment that she will connect with everyone. I want everybody to know that, it happens every month. There's only one winner. But the other 4 doesn't mean they're a bad idea. It just means, we will work with you. Start Garden, that's what we do. We'll connect with you. And, we'll connect it to other sources of capital, other sources of financial, intellectual, and social capital. So we'll connect with you. And with that, that's all I have. I don't know, Mike, do you have anything?
I don't. This is fun. It's been a while since I've done this. Just reminds me of the profound appreciation I have for entrepreneurs that are willing to take their ideas and hang them out there for other people to see them. And that in and of itself is worth applause. So this is fun and energizing. And thanks everybody for sharing what you're working on.
Cool, Lori.
Yeah, well, I'm happy I'm still here at the end of the broadcast. I didn't get it completely, but no. Just to echo, I will reach out to everybody this week. So we will definitely connect with everyone and see what else we can do to help. So.
And again, whether you're an entrepreneur who pitched tonight or one who looks to pitch in the future or one who just wants to figure out what to do, please connect with us again on Startup Space at startgarden.com. We're all about entrepreneurship. Iron sharpens iron. See you next month. Fourth Wednesday of the month? 5x5. Thank you.